Operating Officer, Welkin Hospital, Dr. Ishwaraj Ramrachia, consultant in diabetology and endocrinology, Dr. Siddharth Sharma, CEO of Rosehill Transport Group, management and staff of the Welkin Hospital, management and staff members of the Rosehill Group and iCare, distinguished guests, members of the print and online press, radio and television, all protocol observed. Good morning and a very warm welcome to you all. We're gathered today to commemorate the World Diabetes Day, an international event that will mobilize all the stakeholders and actors who actively fight against one of the most devastating diseases of the 21st century and beyond. The statistics are staggering, and it seems growing at an alarming rate the world over. Mauritius, unfortunately, figures amongst the highest prevalence in the world, excuse me, and the outlook as to our capacity to reverse the trend looks bleak, to say the least. However, this should not in no way deter our resolve to fight and alleviate, when possible, this terrible disease known as the silent killer. This morning, Welkin's initiative to launch an awareness campaign on diabetes will be one of the most innovative which the private health sector has attempted to date, in partnership with the Rosehill Transport Group, whose motto, I remind you, is innovation through leadership. To tell us more on this 2017 campaign on the occasion of the World Diabetes Day, I invite Mr. Maurice Info, Chief Operating Officer, Welkin Hospital, to address you. Mr. Maurice, please.
First of all, let me thank the media for being here, for being the part of the awareness campaign which Welkin wants to let the people of Mauritius know that how this underlying killing disease can affect so many lives. Secondly, I would like to thank Mr. Sharma, who is the CEO for Rosehill Transport, and Dr. Ramacharyan, who will give you the insight of the disease, how this disease can be prevented, what are the lifestyle changes which can bring in the change to do prevention for the disease. Now, World Diabetes Day is celebrated because this is one of the major underlying disease which we are not aware of. There are two types of diabetes type 1, type 2, and the worrying part is the latter, which is diabetes type 2, is not known to many. We do not know when it sets in your body, what it does, and how it slowly starts to pull you down in your health and going forward. So there is some light which we want to put. It is one of the largest campaign in the world which is run today on diabetes, which covers more than 1 billion people. This year's motto for World Diabetes Day is Women and Diabetes. Why? Because women is part of the society where the educational level and the awareness level is much, much low, and how it sets in them from very early ages in the teens to old age. So the motive, the theme behind is to bring awareness and educate the society how we can go ahead with fighting with this disease. So I'll have doctor speaking about the disease, how we can prevent it, how we can take it forward. But just an awareness, it is something which we all have to know, which we have to educate ourselves on and take preventive measures going forward. Thank you all for being a part of this awareness campaign, which will be covered majorly for coming a week and 2 weeks in accordance with Rosehill Transport. Why we chose the transport services? Because transport services connects people from workplace to home, connects people from distances, brings them closer. So this is one of the biggest platforms which helps people to connect And if we can put awareness in that platform, we'll multiply the effect, how we can prevent this disease, how we can take it forward to the communities. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Mr. Maurice. Thank you. Let us now delve deeper into the subject of diabetes by inviting one of our specialists this morning. I believe you're spending the whole day in Welkin today. That's what I heard. On diabetology and endocrinology to the stand. So join me in welcoming Dr. Ishwaraj Ramrachia. Please, Doctor.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody, and I'm sorry I'm slightly late. Today is World Diabetes Day. So globally, this 14th of November, everybody, all the nations comes together to celebrate World Diabetes Day. It's a special occasion where we normally kind of increase the awareness about diabetes. It's a time where we talk about diabetes, we talk about the risk factors, we talk about what diabetes does to people, how does it feel to be diabetic and be doing your day-to-day daily chores, okay? What are the risk factors, how do we modify our lifestyle, what precautions we need to take. So just briefly about World Diabetes Day. So this year's theme is Women and Diabetes. Why women and diabetes? For two main reasons. Number one is, remember, we're all born with the help of a woman. So women give birth to us. So if she looks after us, the child who is born will be healthy. Okay, the woman later becomes a mom, looks after the child. So she will guide the child to a healthy lifestyle, what to eat, what not to eat, what kind of exercise to do, what kind of healthy habits to have. Of course, remember, women, they are the gatekeeping of the house. Okay, I'm sure women would agree. So you decide what to cook at home, how much to cook, what kind of food to buy. So you decide. In fact, you're looking at the health of not just your own, of your kids, but of your whole family as a whole and as a society. Because remember, good diabetes control means good longevity, decreased complication, and increased quality of life. So overall, by looking after diabetes, by looking after the health of your family and the society, you're bringing all these benefits. How about in Mauritius? Well, from what I gather, there's around 350,000 women between the age of 25 to 50, that is women of the reproductive age group, okay, in Mauritius. Around 1 in 2, we either have diabetes or we have pre-diabetes. That's a high number, okay? And remember, with diabetes, we have lots of complications. We all know that it can cause problems with the eyes, can cause blindness, can cause bleeding, can cause cataract, can cause glaucoma. It can affect your heart, increase the risk of a heart attack and stroke. It could cause problems with the kidneys, where it leads to renal failure, needed dialysis. Most people would complain about numbness, tingling, or soreness in the feet, so the nerves are involved. Lots of other people have infection in the bones, we have ulcers, we have skin infections, so loads of complications. But in addition to that, remember, when you have diabetes, your risk of cancer increases by nearly around 26 to 29%, okay? If you get diabetes, you're pregnant, you're having issues with your pregnancy in terms of you can have premature delivery, you can have a miscarriage, you can have complications during delivery. Your child also will be of big size. So usually we tend to be of big size, and again that causes problem during delivery, and they have some problem during adaptation after delivery. There's lots of good reasons why we need to control our diabetes, why we need to take care of it. Now, in Mauritius, around from the latest statistics, that's 2015, around 22.8% of the Mauritian population have diabetes. Around 90 to 25% if you have pre-diabetes or impaired fasting glucose. So that means those people, 1 in 5, let's say, either have diabetes or they're at risk. But I can tell you from experience in the last 8 months in Mauritius, the number is much higher. I can tell you loads of people walking down the road, at least 1 in 2, they've got either diabetes or pre-diabetes, and they aren't aware about it. But if you look at them, lots of them have got risk factors. If you look at the neck, it's got all this kind of pigmentation. It's quite dark in the color, but quite big, they have big sized tummy. Okay, all these things tell you that they are at risk, and mean they either got pre-diabetes or they got diabetes. My question is, what do we do about it? How can we help this small nation? Of course, remember the statistics. Mauritius was 4th in the world in 2015, with the risk of diabetes. At some point, it was first in the world, such a small nation. Okay, Mauritius remains on the top of the list with the risk of death related to diabetes in the world. Okay, so among all the nations in the world, the number of people dying with diabetes and diabetes-related complications in Mauritius is highest globally. Okay? We have around 500 to 800 amputations per year in Mauritius. Around 1,500 dialysis happens on a daily basis, or around 15,000 on a monthly basis. Okay, the government spends around 2.2 million annually per person to treat. Not per person, but annually to treat diabetes. And the sad thing is, 80% of this cost are involved or utilized to treat the complications. So if we control our diabetes well, the risk of complication will be less, the quality of life will be better, the economy will boost, and we can save all this money. So our job would be to reduce the risk complications, give the right advice, control the diabetes, and make life easier to live. So in terms of what can we do to help the Mauritian, I think first of all we all start with education. Education for the patient, education for the doctors. Okay, patient needs to know what to eat, how much to eat. They need to know whether they need to do regular exercise, what kind of exercise they need to do. They need to know about the body mass index, whether they're big or whether they're slim. Okay, they need to know the targets. If somebody's got diabetes, they need to know what's the blood sugar like. You know, people say, oh yeah, your blood sugar is fine, but how much is fine? Can we describe it? So they need to know the target. What's the HbA1c should be? What the blood glucose would be? What about the lipids profile, the cholesterol? Okay, what's the blood pressure target? We should know all these things, because we may not have the time to see each and every one of them on a daily basis. But if we educate them, we empower the patients, and we tell them this is stuff they need to be aware, this is stuff they need to be looking after, then they will do the work. Okay, so important is our lifestyle. It's about educating the people. Of course, we have to give them right medication. There are quite a lot of medications in the market, so we need to know which medication to use for which patient. It's not one shoes fit all. So diabetes, people say, oh, it's easy, let's give them metformin, let's give something like that. It's not like that. You have to choose the patient. You have to give what we call individualized therapy. So everybody, body mass index, the weight, the lifestyle, it's all different. So you have to choose what's the right medication for them. Okay, and also you need to be aware that loads of patients have come across who are being treated as type 2. So you need to make sure that you get the right diagnosis, first of all, okay? Because if somebody got type 1 diabetes, they need to go on insulin. You can't fuffle around giving them oral medication, okay? So you need to know what kind of diabetes they've got. You need to give them the advice, the education. They need to know about the targets. They need to know what kind of things they need to look for. They need to be aware about the things they need to expect during consultation. For example, they need to know that they need to have their blood glucose, the HbA1c, the blood pressure, the lipid profile, the renal function test. They need to have their eyes checked at least yearly, if not 6 monthly. They need to have their feet checked. They need to be given some psychological support. They need to give advice about smoking if they smoke. They need to give given advice about sexual life. Because remember, lots of men who's got diabetes, who's got sexual dysfunction. Okay, they have erectile dysfunction, and it's sad to hear that very few of them actually come forward and say, look, doc, I've got the problem with this. And I can tell you from my experience, almost every man I've asked for, which I do, have got this problem. Okay, because remember, if you have a problem with that, you have a problem in the family, you have a problem at home. Okay, so we need to be aware about all these things. Okay, and of course we need to contact them fairly frequently. We need to have a port of contact. We're lucky at Apollo that we can see them fairly. It's Wellcome Hospital now, fairly frequently. We've got access to dietitians who are there to help them and provide advice what kind of feed stuff to eat. We've got the podiatry department where if they've got problem with their feet, they can be seen. We've got the retinal screening department, so everybody can have a yearly scan. So we've got all these facilities here, and the patient needs to be told that these are things we need to be looking after. Okay, in terms of doctors, okay, doctors also needs to be educated. They need to be educated about what's the update, what's the guidelines, how to treat this patient. If they're struggling with the patient, they need to seek help with a specialist, okay? Because remember, you can't just sit around and manage the diabetes by trying different medication. You need to bring the HbA1c to target, because if you bring the HbA1c target, the risk of complication is much, much better, okay? So those are in terms of what kind of stuff they need to be aware. of course, remember, patient needs to be aware about the risk factors. Because lots of patients who don't have diabetes, they'll say, well, how do I decide, or when do I decide when to do blood tests? So we need to be aware about risk factors. So if, for example, you're overweight, that is your body mass index above 23 for an Asian people, okay? If you are Asian of ethnicity, if you're Afro-Caribbean, you need to know your risk increases at least 4 to 6 times. Okay? You need to know the family history, you need to know what medication you're taking. So there are lots of things we need to be aware about, okay? That's our job, to educate them, to empower them to know about diabetes. And remember, it's a global disease. We all have to come together. We have to work hand in hand. Small trivial things we do will culminate in the big stuff. So if we want to reduce or remove diabetes from the map of the world, we have to work together. We have to join hands, and let's deal with this mammoth task of dealing with diabetes in Mauritius. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Doctor. So it seems we now know the precautions to take. Well, we can start today. We're going later on. We're going to offer you a screening. It's free. Okay. So we can all do it and have some fun while we're doing this today. Thank you, Dr. Ramracha, for being with us. The Road Transport Group is probably one of the most innovative, if not the most innovative company around. Its implication in the health sector is real, and although it may sound a little bit odd that a public transport company would choose to operate within the health sector, is actually, its line of action is one of the most advanced on the island. Through the wholly owned company called iCare, the Road Transport Group has on offer medical instruments and supplies that are the most modern in the field, at least as at today. As we know, technology moves every single minute as we're talking, so they'll have to keep up with that. Digitalized medical instruments allow nowadays medical practitioners to stay online with their patients, and the patients themselves to better manage their health conditions with a set of digital monitoring equipment. In a sense, iCare is bringing to the market eye health equipment closer to the wellness of the patients. This is precisely the type of equipment which will be used during the week of this screening, and which you can also see here exposed for the benefit of all of us. So time now to submit the stand to Dr. Siddharth Sharma. I must say that Dr. Sharma is a doctor in management, not in medicine, to deliver his address and explain the extent of this partnership with Welkin Hospital on the occasion of the World Diabetes Day 2017. Dr. Sharma, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Gerard. It's telecoms, not management.
Yes.
First of all, Dr. Mohit, Dr. Amatia, members of Welkin Hospital, my colleagues from RHT, good morning to you all. I'm extremely honored to be here to commemorate the World Diabetes Day today. This is, like Dr. Ramracha pointed out, a serious disease that's afflicting 25% of the local population. Both my parents are diabetic, and hearing what the doctor is saying, I'll have to get that blood test done sooner than later. So yeah, you must all be wondering, bus transport and Welkin Hospital, what could they be doing together? Well, I just wanted to introduce today iCare. iCare is a subsidiary of RHT Holding Limited. iCare is also a spin-off of a telematics business we have, which is Island Communications Limited. And we started this business some 20 years ago. We have been pioneers in telemetry, and you know, there's a concept now we talk in technology is Internet of Things. Homes are becoming smarter, everything is becoming connected, devices are talking to each other, and there's been a lot of development in the space of medicine and technology. I just met in the morning one of your colleagues, I think is a biomedical engineer, and it's interesting to see that you have a function of a biomedical engineer in your hospital. So we wish to bring connected technology to Mauritius. It's about having intelligent devices that can monitor your vital statistics and hopefully sort of give you a digital log, offer you the information in a simple and concise way so that you can present that to the clinician so that he can give you an effective treatment. So this is what iCare is about. It's early days for us, but we've got some interesting products. We've got a digital glucometer, which works pretty much like your old glucometer, but it's got a digital twist to it. And my colleague here, Waze, will do himself a pleasure to showcase what we have. So concerning the initiative today, again, thank you, Doctor, for giving us this opportunity to collaborate with you. I think as corporates, we have to do more. We're not doing enough to address issues concerning the community at large. So we have got a bus which has been branded for sensitizing people. So people who will travel on that bus will have an opportunity to have a free diabetic screening. And we will have the assistance of a nurse, I believe, on that bus. So I'm excited. I hope that we transport 30,000 people daily. So if we can touch, I think 10%, we would have done very well. So with that, thank you all. And I look forward to see what this collaboration does in 2 weeks' time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right, so dear colleagues and friends, before we go and board the bus, maybe I want to afford the press who is with us today. If you want to get to some more specific questions, let's do that now. And then we'll all go down to the branded bus and put a little finger up for that screening that we're all wishing for. So if we have any questions, please do it now, or else if you probably want to do it in a special corner with a view in the back, that's up to you, okay? So we have some time to do that, and then we'll all go down to board the bus. Thank you for being with us again. Thank you. Questions?
Nobody?
I think all three of them have covered everything we could ask.
Yes. Yeah. Maybe one aspect, Doctor, that we could is that the impact on productivity. Apparently, people who are diabetic probably don't have the same productivity level as a healthy person. Is that true?
Absolutely. So remember, so someone who's got diabetes, number one is we need to adjust the daily routine. So we need to wake up, we need to check the blood glucose, we need to decide what to eat, how much to eat. Are we going to rush to work? Are we going to take the car to work? Are we going to carry the blood glucose to work? When are we going to check the blood glucose? Are we going to do it among their friends? You know, all these things makes life a little bit difficult. That's number one. Of course, if you get diabetes, long-standing, not well controlled, we're bound to have some complications. Most people have some complication in terms of the feet. They can't feel very well, or sometimes it hurts, so they can't have good night's sleep. Okay, so hence in the morning they feel tired. I've got trouble with the vision, is a bit blurred. Okay, so also same thing. If you have numbers, things, and fingers, if you're using computers, we can't do that. If your blood goes a bit high, you feel generally slightly tired. Okay, so that decreases your productivity. We have to drink more, we need to go to the toilet more, okay? We need to take more time off because we need to go to the hospital, we need to buy medications or follow treatment for any other stuff. So overall, the quality of life goes down, okay? The productivity decreases, and of course, overall life efficiency and quality of life decreases as a whole.
On m'a expliqué le projet. Oui.
Pour ça, projet-là s'insère dans le cadre du Corporate Social Responsibility de la compagnie. On associe nous avec Wellking Hospital. Comme on connaît aujourd'hui, c'est le World Diabetic Day et c'est une non-communicable disease qui a affecté 25% des Mauriciens. Et plus, il y a 20% qui ont une prédisposition à sa mortalité. Alors, nous pensons qu'il est extrêmement important de sensibiliser à ça pour prendre conscience. La cause beaucoup capable de faire, même si on a sa maladie là, contrôler. Et nous percevons chez nous avec Wellking, donc nous faisons un dépistage dans un bus qui ont dit nous brandly pour justement du monde qui remarque sa vie là. Sur les 5 jours, nous prenons justement un nurse de 9h à midi qui peut faire un screening test l'année 174. Alors, nous sommes extrêmement rapides. J'espère nous avons fait de l'impact. On voulait le transport de 30 000 passagers par jour. Ceci nous avons au moins sensitiser 10% du monde pour penser que nous atteignons l'objectif.
Sur une année de 9h, 3h, combien de personnes vous pensez que vous êtes capable de faire par jour?
3 000. Non, 3 000 en tout. Vous pensez que vous pouvez toucher dans 5 jours.
Donc c'est sur l'année Express Rosil.
Express Rosil, pour 164.
Combien de vous pensez dans 3h par jour?
Écoutez, nous pensons peut-être une soixantaine par le temps.
180 par jour.
L'idée vient, écoutez, nous sommes chez nous, we've got a factory, idea factory comme on dirait. Il y a quelqu'un qui a proposé l'idée et tu peux... non, l'équipe est venue avec nous. Comme je vous ai dit, nous avons un engagement de corporate social responsibility. Il faut qu'on fasse quelque chose, il faut qu'on trouve des solutions. Nous avons des employés qui sont affligés par ça. Vous avez entendu le docteur Ramatière dire que c'est un impediment pour la productivité. Je pense aujourd'hui, comme c'est le World Diabetic Day qui est célébré dans 160 pays, 1 milliard de personnes vont être conscientisées. Nous devons apporter notre pierre à l'édifice. Avec les moyens restreints qu'on a à notre disposition, avoir
Vous avez parlé de productivité. Est-ce que les employés de vos transports sont screenés pour le diabète?
Nous avons un health camp qu'on fait chaque année. Et le prochain health camp va se faire sûrement à la fin du mois.
Les tarifs, ça va être semblable, pareil comme les autres.
Pardon?
Pour les tarifs.
Non, le tarif, pourquoi ça va changer? Non, c'est quelque chose qu'on offre avec Wellking. Il y aura un free pre-screen testing qui va se faire. When was last you sat in a bus?
If you return him the compliment, he would be as... yeah, he would be...
So all the tests will be done here. The nurse will be seated here. Then anyone to do the test will have to sit like that.
Is that your equipment now? Okay.
So you can get everything, the result on the screen itself, and we can even save the name, any details of the person being tested on the device. We can later email you everything, so you get the database of everyone tested within 5 days.
Ça y est, on est content. Et qui sont l'importance un peu qui prend une boîte de voyage de diabète?
Et aujourd'hui, on va essayer. On va connaître le diabète ou pas. Et bien bon, on est satisfait.
Donc en termes de temps aussi, c'est important parce qu'il a envie de faire le voyage, il y a le endroit et en même temps, on fait des...
Oui, moi, parce que je n'ai pas gagné le temps, je travaille, le job bloqué. Et je m'avais fait l'idée, on va essayer. Ouais, on va